From the Owl Nest Barbecue Research and Development Center in Ottawa, Tennessee, it's time to light the grill, smoke the meat, and then repeat, because you are seeing and listening to the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show with Steve Ray. The Owl's Nest Barbecue Show is brought to you by David Boscott and all the great products from Butcher Barbecue. Rubs, injections, sauce, and grilling oils. Now you can cook like a world champion with Butcher Barbecue products. And now the host of the show, Steve Ray.
Thank you, Emma, for the great introduction, everybody. Welcome to the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show, the January 23rd edition, Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us here on a wet Wednesday night. All my friends here in Hamilton County, if you have school-aged children, it's raining and it's expected to be cold overnight. So you know what that means for us. No school tomorrow. I kid you not. No school tomorrow for Hamilton County schools. All Hamilton County schools are out tomorrow, Thursday, January the 24th. So you get a day off. Find something to do. Go to the movies. Clean the house. You won't be able to work in the yard because it's going to be cold and rainy and freezing. But you get a day off. Everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. Follow the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show on YouTube. You can pick up all of the past episodes. Folks, we got Malcolm Reed's back there. Heath Riles is back there. Rub Bagby's back there. Tim Malloy's back there. Andy Cagle is back there. Gosh, we've already got so many guests that have been on the show in just a short while that it's worth going back. So go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, if you would, please, and go watch some past episodes of the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show. Also, follow me on Instagram, Owl's Nest Barbecue on Instagram. Go to Instagram, click follow. We put some videos up there. Sometimes when I'm cooking some stuff at night when I get home, we cook other stuff. Last night, I was talking with some friends of mine. We gather the fourth Tuesday of every month, to discuss things, barbecue and non-barbecue. And I explained to my friends that it was just been within the last year that I tried Chinese food. Can you believe that? I had gone my entire life without trying Chinese food up to about a year ago. And they were appalled. I didn't have Chinese food growing up as a kid. It was the furthest thing from our palates. My mother never showed an interest in serving us Chinese food. We had things like steak, eye of round, roast beef, mashed potatoes, rolls, gravy, bacon, eggs, the entire time I was growing up. And in my young adulthood, hamburgers, fries, steak, the normal fare. And it just has been recently I have discovered Chinese food, and it is wonderful. I love it. I made a big batch of chicken-flavored brown rice. That's all, just right on the skillet. Rice-a-roni. I know. Don't laugh. Rice-a-roni I had tonight for dinner. Love it. Absolutely love it. And it's great. So that's the kind of stuff we put on Instagram. If I make something fun, we stick it up there. You'll enjoy it. I promise you. Go there too. Vimeo also. You can follow us on Vimeo. Of course, follow us on Facebook page. We post things on Facebook all the time on my personal Facebook page, just like you're watching. Now, we'll be switching this Facebook page in the next few weeks over to the Owl's Nest Barbecue page. The show will begin airing on the Owl's Nest Barbecue page. We're going to take a few weeks to promote it and get people over to the Owl's Nest Barbecue page. So go there now, like it, and follow it, and you won't miss an episode of the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show because we appreciate you so much tuning in. Our special guest tonight is Matt Barber, a past Team of the Year winner from the Florida Barbecue Association. That's right. Steve, that name sounds familiar. Yeah, it is. I know. He's been on. I'm getting ready to tell him. He's been on before. Matt has been on the show before. But he is back with an adventure that is so great and so wonderful and so beyond your expectations that I couldn't wait to get him in here tonight to talk about his adventure that he was here just last weekend, 3 days ago. Let's see, today's Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, Saturday, Friday. He was just over there, and now he's back here, and he's going to tell us about it. I can't wait. So we're going to go to the phones here. We're going to do a little shopkeeping. Please stay with us. You are watching and listening to the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show. We're going to do a little housekeeping, and we'll be right back with you, so don't go away. Hey, everybody, I want to remind you while we're getting ready for tonight's show, you can buy Butcher Barbecue products at my place, Steve Ray's Midnight Oil. For more than 35 years, my family has been helping your family get to where they're going safely on Michelin tires. And when you need stuff for your barbecue, we've got that too. Butcher Barbecue products. We've got a great place, Steve Ray's Midnight Oil in Ottawa. For 35 years, right here in Ottawa. Folks, nobody else can say that. Getting in touch with Matt Barber, past team of the year.
Hello.
Hello, Matt.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing? Let me fix you up there. There you go, everybody. There's Matt Barber, direct from his home in Florida, getting ready for, I guess it's already grilling season in Florida, isn't it, Matt?
Oh yeah, it started It started right after New Year's.
365 days a year, you can cook barbecue in Florida in your flip-flops. I love it.
well, except for like June, July, August, it's a little bit miserable.
Do y'all really take off that long? Do y'all take off? But y'all still cook, though, don't you?
Well, it's just hard for people to have events when it's 100 degrees with 98% humidity. It's hard to get people out to, raise money for a charity when it's so incredibly hot. So it kind of, there's a few contests out and around that, that time of year here, but it's just so miserably hot, and then the power bill gets so high, so it's kind of a drain.
I guess you can always head north.
Well, that's what I do.
Yeah. I've seen you up here. I've seen you up here in Beat Me.
Actually, I'll be heading up there, in a few weeks. I'll be cooking the one in Arkansas coming up.
Oh, my gosh. You're going to the KCBS one in Arkansas?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great, Matt. That's great. That's going to be a great contest.
It should be great.
They are starting.
You always want to go to the first one.
Absolutely, it's going to be and what Matt is talking about is the KCBS KCBS World Championship is what it basically boils down to. If to get there, you had to be either a winner or a second place, a grand champion, reserve grand champion in our lingo, and that's the only people that can go. I can't go. I could go and compete in the state contest, but I can't go and compete in barbecue. But that's not why we're here tonight, man. We'll talk about that later. But I want to, I tried to make some notes about your weekend. In my mind, I couldn't do it. I finally threw the notebook pad down and said, "That's enough. I can't make notes. I can't fathom what he has gone through."
Yeah.
Now, folks, Matt is back from Europe, and I'm not talking England, Paris. Matt, explain to us where you were because, brother, you can't get there from here.
Yeah, there's no direct flights. That's for sure. The contest is called the West Extreme Barbecue Competition. I might have some of the words mixed up, but it's called West Extreme.
Yeah, I've got
and
it. It's West Winter Extreme South Tyrol Barbecue Contest in Riva di Turos, Italy. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I should have flown over to MC Awards.
You might have to roll an R or do something, but that's pretty darn close. I cooked this contest last year, and so I knew a little bit what I was getting into. But where the contest is, it's in probably one of the most northern parts of northern Italy. It's in what used to be the Austrian Alps. So I want to say we're at about 6,000 feet above sea level.
Mm-hmm.
and I think the mountain ranges that are around the contest site are anywhere from between 8 and up to 11,000 feet.
Good grief.
So you're almost at the tree line, you know,
Mm-hmm.
where the oxygen drops off.
That being
know,
where the trees end, right?
Yeah, and but it like this year it was about. Well, actually, what I do is I flew out of Tampa. I flew into Washington D.C.
Now, what day did you fly
there,
out? What day did you fly out? Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday?
I left Tuesday of last week.
All right.
And so I flew into to D.C. Then from there I caught a direct flight to Munich, Germany. So then from there I rented a car. I took a train last year, which was fine, but I was kind of stuck. You know, I had to walk everywhere, and I had to get rides or wait for stuff, and I ended up missing a train, and I ended up having to get picked up, and it was like midnight before I got in. So I'm like, I'm just going to rent a car, and hopefully Siri can read the Italian streets and German streets and figure out how to get me where I need to go. And so I drove down from Munich, through Austria, down through Innsbruck. Then once you hit Italy, you kind of hang a hard left, and then you just start going back up in the mountains, back up north a little bit. And I ended up getting there Wednesday afternoon, about 5 p.m., just around sunset.
Okay.
And
24 hours later, basically. Well, more than
pretty
that,
much.
Because they're 5 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, they're 6 hours ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I just crashed at the hotel, had dinner there that night. And the next morning, I was just I put on a barbecue class, a master class. I think I had 10 or 12 students, and that was for Friday. So Thursday, I went around running around getting stuff for that.
Now, wait a minute.
Just trying to
wait a minute, Matt. You went over there to compete, but you also taught a class?
Yeah, I taught a class Friday.
Oh, my
The
God.
contest was actually a Saturday-Sunday contest, and I taught a class on Friday.
Uh-huh.
So basically, I did a double.
That's right, because when you teach a barbecue class, you go through all the timelines, and it's a long day.
Yeah.
It's a long day, isn't it?
Yeah. This class started at noon, and we ended about 9:30. So it was, actually I had to cook a lot hotter than usual just to try and get stuff done in time. But it turned out good. I mean, it's that place is so weird to cook at. It's you have the altitude one, and the temperatures are just.
How cold was it?
So it was 1.
1. That's what it was in Cleveland, Ohio
1.
yesterday. 1. 1 degree.
It got. I'm trying to think. It got like -3 at night. That's no wind chill, no anything. But thankfully the wind wasn't too bad. But so it got negatives. At the the evening and at night and in the morning, and I think the high was like 15, 16 degrees, something like that.
Good gosh, man.
So you open up the grill,
to get warm.
It just went from 300. It just went from 300 to 60.
Yeah. All right. Now let's back up, man. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, because there's a whole lot of stuff that we're leaving out that I'm interested in, and I know the audience is interested in. Now last week.
Yeah.
Keep
me on track.
All right. We spoke to Brad Leininger last week, and Brad was telling us how when he went out to California to cook in the King of the Smoker, he had to make arrangements for somebody to bring him, get his drums out there. What he packed, what he took with him, and then what he had to get while he was out there, what he had to buy. Now he flew in an airplane, of course. What did you take, essentially wise, that you need to cook in a barbecue contest, and then what did you make arrangements ahead of the time in Riva di Turres, Italy? Because I'm assuming Riva di Turres, Italy, does not have a Walmart Supercenter.
No, that they don't. So what I did is I basically brought all of my sauces and rubs and injections. My injector needle, my Thermopens, the things I needed to flavor the meat and make sure it was done right. Did
you do it carry on? Did you pack it carry on, or did you trust them to get it?
I put it in my check bag. I mean, there was 50 pounds of barbecue products.
Okay.
Actually, like 49 and a half. I mean, I maxed it out.
Now hold on. When you go through TSA, and that goes through when all those little tubes and everything go through the X-ray machine, does it throw up a flag, or did they say open it up?
It gets, well, no, it's a checked bag, so you check it at the counter.
Yeah, but I know it still goes through a thing, though. I think, doesn't it? I mean, they're not.
It definitely gets inspected by TSA. You get that little stick, that little postcard in there every time.
Yeah, it didn't say. Nobody said, "Mr. Barber, please report to the service desk. Please report to the service desk." It explained.
Well, you got to. Well, and you want to make sure everything's got a label on it.
Yeah.
Actually, I had to borrow some of Swamp Boy's labels to put on some of my rubs because I don't have any. I don't sell my own rub yet. So I wanted to make sure TSA didn't swipe it because if it doesn't have a label on it, they don't know what it is. It could be anything, and just for safety, they'll just toss it. I've heard of people losing injection mixes and stuff. Anything you have like in a Ziploc bag or something loose, they'll just toss it. Yeah. So I made sure everything had a label on it, and I threw.
They just take your word for it. They just take your word for it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they've got. I mean, they run stuff through. They have a little vacuum cleaner thing. They can suck the air up out of that suitcase and see if there's anything dangerous in it. So I'm sure they tested it all pretty good, but the scarier part is on the way back because it's got like I had some dirty dishes in a Ziploc bag that I didn't have time to clean. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, if it gets sniffed by a dog, he's probably going to peg on it because it smells like freaking barbecue.
That's right. Cocaine, nothing. I smell ribs.
Yeah. So I mean, I brought all my sauces and rubs, and I didn't bring any knives with me. I did bring some scissors, for the chicken knuckles and my chicken skins. My things I knew I couldn't have access to there. I brought some tinfoil pans because tinfoil pans over there. I mean, the biggest ones you can get are like the small little Weber size, about an inch tall, 6 by 9.
Right, 9 inches.
Like that. So I just brought my own just in case. I really wasn't sure what I was going to be cooking on. Last year I cooked on two Weber Smoky Mountains and just a Weber kettle. This year, actually, I borrowed one Weber Smoky Mountain from Jaimo. He was the organizer. He actually just got elected to the board of the KCBS.
He friended me in on Facebook today.
Yeah.
That's the longest friend I've got, farthest away, is Jaimo.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
He does a Weber class, and he does a lot of cooking schools over there for Weber, and I think they have a cookbook, too, that came out last year. But he's a great organizer. It's a great contest. So he set me up with the cookers last year. This year he set me up with one. And then a friend of mine, Domenico, who I met last year at the contest, he brought he's got a Gateway drum. So he brought that. He brought all kinds of other things, chairs, heaters, blankets, tents. He was kind of the guy that him and his partner, Marco, kind of brought everything else that you would need for a contest. Tables, chairs, tents, heaters, coolers, little Cambros, all the stuff that you can't bring with you. He was able to bring he was from Milan, so he drove up for 4 hours and brought everything. So they were my helpers and my co-teammates that weekend, and definitely made it a lot easier to compete.
All right. So when you got there, are you cooking in a pop-up or a tent? Because I've been to the Hot Wauchulas headquarters at a contest before, and you're not traveling in the ghettos. You are traveling first class with the cooler.
Yeah, I'm not roughing it.
No, you're not roughing it at all.
There, actually, everybody gets. Well, there's a couple different entries you can do. You can, I don't know if you've seen some of the pictures, but they look like little fishing sheds.
Yeah. That's what I thought. It looked like a little wood. Look, it reminded me of the big pig jig.
Yeah, so yeah, but just many. They're like Monopoly size houses.
Yeah.
They're like I think 5x10s or something like that. But I'm sure it's some metric meter thing. So so part of your entry fee is you get one of those cabins, or some teams can share a cabin, or some teams, if they're totally crazy, can just cook out of a tent and sleep in a tent and not have any of those wooden sheds. But of course you can't cook in the shed, but you can do your prep, and so people have little kerosene type heaters they'll put in the shed, and some will wrap insulation around the inside, plug up holes, and put blankets up on the wall just to try and keep the heat in. But everybody's cooking outside, and you can either set your cookers up underneath the tent and duct them outside, or we just set the cookers right outside. Of course, you've got to put a piece of plywood down, and then put the cookers on top, because otherwise it'll melt and it'll drop down like 5 feet. So, if you're cooking hot and fast,
because you're cooking on an ice cap.
Because you're cooking on the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're cooking on snow, so you got to put a piece of wood down, on and then put your cookers on top of it. Otherwise, it'll just drop down to to the grass. At some point, you won't be able to find the cookers.
Now, Matt, let me stop you right there. One time I cooked. I cooked in my friends. We cooked at a contest in Chatsworth, and it was in November, and the temperature got down to 15 and 14 degrees that night, and we were having to put the meat in the cooler to keep it from freezing.
Yeah.
Reverse, is that what you guys were up against with in let me say this again. I love saying this. Riva di Therese, Italy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So pretty much, yeah. That's why people have Well, the one thing too, you can't have any electric heaters, because each one of those little shacks gets like one outlet, and it's pretty much just for light.
Mm-hmm.
And we were clearly informed at the cooks meeting that if the power goes out, the Italian electrician does not work nights and weekends. So it went out. It went out for the whole contest. So people are pretty strict about not plugging anything in. But I think it was in the 40s inside that tent, inside the shed. So we would just leave the meat out on the counter. Some stuff. If it was any colder than that, then yeah, we would have had to heat up some water or some bricks and put it in the Cambro, then put the meat in to keep it from freezing.
Yeah,
but
it's awful.
You pretty much have to add an hour onto your time anyways, because you're putting stuff in, at 40 degrees instead of 70 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to adjust your time a little bit. But we just kind of set it out there and wrapped it in foil, and it's at least it was nice enough in there to where it didn't freeze back solid, which, that was my problem last year. Everything I trimmed when I'd get ready to put on the grill, it was just frozen into a block, or my injections would be frozen, or my sauces would be frozen. You go to sauce something, you grab a bottle, and you're like, oh crap, I can't get anything out of there.
Yeah.
So this year having that heater was a huge help, and that was actually Peter from White Squirrel. He brought me that heater, so it saved the day for sure. It made it a lot more manageable. But
now was this?
It's a big issue there. The stuff freezing after you trim it.
Yeah. Was this a KCBS event?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
so
the
KCBS European event. Now, how in the world did you get hooked up with this place to go over there and cook? This is like for a barbecue guy like me, this is a dream. This is something that you would you just dream about. You'd love to try.
Well, yeah, that was the kind of the thing. I saw some of the posts on it, and seeing all the pictures. I've always wanted. I love the snow. I love the mountains. We don't get any of that down here. In Florida, there's never going to be any snow, and there's the highest point in Florida, I think, is a phosphate mound. So it's we don't have much skyline to look at other than great sunsets and sunrises. But
Chad Ward's tummy when he's sitting down, right?
Well, or short, but you need special optical lenses to withstand the brightness of those things. But no, it's and I was born in Alaska. There used to be a contest in the winter in Alaska that I wanted to go to because I've always wanted to go back. but I would see pictures of this contest on Facebook, and I like, man, that's just gorgeous. Right?
Yeah.
You're in this small valley in the middle of nowhere. There's, the Alps right there, Rocky Mountains on either side. And I just made a post on one of their Facebook things, and I think it was Stefan. He's a KCBS judge. He comes and judges like the World Foods and the Royal, and he does a bunch of events in the States. He travels a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a comment on one of his, or he might have even tagged me in it, and said, "Hey, you need to come cook this." And I saw it. I'm like, you know what? Hell yeah! And I'm like, hell yeah, put me on the list. I'd love to come cook that. And then Jaimo sent me a message back. It's like, well, this contest is in like 2 weeks. Once we get done with this one, we'll talk in February. We'd love to have you. So I'm like, hell yeah, that'd be great. And so then, we talked about it, and, he's like, would you want to put on a class? I'm like, yeah, that'd be great, to help, cover some of the expense. And, I think one of the things that, people that cook a lot, I think sometimes it's our responsibility to kind of do, help promote the sport. And for me, that was like a win-win,
Well, sure it is.
Teach a class, promote American barbecue over in Europe, and help cover my expenses and pay my trip, and just kind of try something different. It was, it's kind of like, to me, it's the most fair, level field contest that I've ever cooked.
Now, why is that?
Well, because it's nobody has trailers, nobody has rigs, nobody's got fancy meat. I did have a good brisket thanks to Peter. He hooked me up with a great brisket. But the pork is different. The chicken's different. The temperature, of course, and the altitude is different. And everybody's cooking outside. Everybody's got a 20 by 20 foot spot. Mm-hmm. Everybody's hands are cold and feet are cold, and everybody's a mile and a half up. So everybody's miserable just as you. Everybody's got the same quality meats for the most part, and Jaimo and them, they do have a great, you can buy your meat from them, and you pick it up there the morning of the contest or the day before the contest. Mm-hmm. They've got really good ribs and pork butts and chicken, and it's cut a little bit different sizes, and it's like you said, there's no Walmart or Sam's Club or so they get meats from a butcher. They kind of spec them.
Now, dude, when you got your how many pork butts did you cook at this contest?
I cooked 2.
2, okay. How many do you normally cook?
6.
Yeah. 6.
And so
I wasn't expecting 6. I was thinking 4 maybe.
Well, you've got 2 as a backup, and you probably do 2 that are boneless, and you trim them down to, 4.5, 5 pounds. Mm-hmm. Just if the other monies don't, sometimes you can trim a money out, and when it cooks up, it just gets weird, or one of them tightens up like crazy for some weird reason at the end. But so I just like to have a backup, and mainly that's because of FBA, because you got to fill the box, so you're putting probably 4 pounds of meat in the FBA box. So,
yeah. So what is the chicken? When you got your chicken? Let's go through every. We can go through every turn, and we got plenty of time.
Okay.
Did you do thighs or wings, or did you do the whole chicken? How'd you turn it in?
Well, last year I got they were leg quarters, mm-hmm. and I just trimmed them into thighs, and actually that was kind of nice because I could get some extra skin off of the legs and make sure everything wrapped around. But
right.
They looked about the size of the thighs you'd get from public supermarkets. Mm-hmm. They like the size of the wings. So these were the thighs. The leg quarters looked like chicken wings.
Little chickens.
But they were super small. Yeah. This year was actually they were nice size. They were probably 3 ounce thighs, mm-hmm. 3 or 4. Well, they were probably 5 ounce thighs. I'm trying to think, because that's kind of what I look for.
Yeah, white.
They were decent size. So these were more traditional.
Yeah, were they white skin or yellow skin?
Normal.
White skin or yellow skin?
It was. Say again?
Was it white or yellow skin chicken?
They were white.
Okay.
Yeah, it was white skinned. So it was, they were decent size. I mean, they were pretty standard. I mean, it was nice. I'm like, I don't know where you got this chicken, but this chicken is perfect. I mean, it was, a lot more manageable. It was the right size. I could trim it.
Go find his
Just
brother.
something I was used to. It fit in the pan good, and so they supplied that, and everything was pretty much,
Yeah.
kind of straightforward. I mean, I went my basic chicken recipe, and did a little bit of a butter bath, kind of a half butter bath modified method, and used my same process. The one thing was your temperatures are just way off. It's
Can you get a smoker? Can you get a smoker up to 285, 295, or is it impossible?
Oh, I was cooking between 3 and 350 on the
okay.
gateway.
So you can get it up there then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's just, it's kind of weird because, with the altitude, the water boils at a lower temp, so you think stuff would cook faster, but it doesn't. You use more fuel because you got to create more heat.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's just, I did it. Well, and actually part of the having the class the day or two before, it kind of helps me more than it helps anyone because, I can go over my times and temps. Like, I pulled my chicken at my standard temperature, which, by the way, isn't 148, which I've heard a lot of people say that's when I pulled my chicken. So that's not when I pulled my chicken. So I pulled it right around 160, though. So I pulled it, and it was a little under. So, for the contest, I took it 10 degrees higher,
mm-hmm.
And it kind of worked out well.
I go under ribs. Now, did their spare ribs look like ours? Were they cut? Did you have to trim the skirt off of it?
Well, there's actually I had 2 ribs that were from a butcher that was a friend of Domenico's from Milan. Mm-hmm. So he brought 2 slabs that were really nice. They were pretty good size St. Louis. They were probably 3.5 up. I mean, they were a good size rib. And then I had some other ones. I forget what the name was. I'd have to see if I have a picture of it. But they were kind of like they looked like a Duroc, like a Snake River Duroc. I mean, they were smaller, but the marbling was really good on them. But they were small, kind of like a Snake River Duroc rib.
So if you brought it over here, if you brought it to me, say we hook up at down in Lakeview at the end of May, and you brought me that rib, I wouldn't know the difference. Say, yeah, it looks like a rib. You got it at Kroger or something.
Pretty much, it's smaller. The bigger ribs are the ones that the butcher's actually cutting out, and he's cutting that out with the bacon and all that stuff attached, and you're kind of filleting that off.
Yeah. How big was the brisket? How big was your brisket?
It was a beast. It was 9.3 kilos.
What's that in American?
So it was a little over 20 pounds.
Wow, 20 pounds.
Yeah, it was a good brisket. It was a Wagyu. It was a Snake River.
Oh my! So how did you get that over there?
So, my buddy Peter from White Squirrel was cooking that contest. And
what's the freight on a Snake River Wagyu brisket to Riva di Torres, Italy?
They must have a distributor somewhere in Europe. I'm trying to remember where. Peter somewhere in Germany, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. All right. A 20-pound brisket.
But it's not cheap though. I mean, it's definitely not.
They're not cheap over here, Matt.
Well, it's it's double that over there. So it's but that's the one thing I think you need to spend money on is a brisket. It's I think you can get away with commodity, Sam's Club,
mm-hmm.
Food service type quality meat for ribs. I buy my chicken at Publix. That's the only place I'll buy my chicken.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You know, and I bought ribs there too. So, but you know, for the competition, I think the brisket is the one piece of meat you got to spend money on, and you know,
Well,
I usually cook
the taste is so,
A9s from the butcher shop.
the taste is so different between a prime and a wagyu. And if you
Yeah,
show
well,
and
and
if
the
you show
tenderness
up with
too
a
is just
if you show up with anything less than a prime, if you show up with a choice, you better hope you do better than the other three, because these
well.
judges
I
are
mean,
spoiled. They're spoiled.
well, yeah, because I mean, you've got to cook that brisket absolutely perfect to compete with somebody that cooks an Australian A9 half-assed.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
you
I'm
can
with you.
screw up an A9 and still do better than somebody that's cooked a choice. That's the best choice that they've ever cooked in their life. I can screw up an A9 and I'll still get more points than you.
Yeah.
Just because it's going to be it's going to be a lot more tender. I mean, it's that one cut of meat you got to splurge on, and you know, you just have to, you know, and that definitely helped me in the competition.
So you're cooking now. How many barbecue teams were in this little contest?
I think there were 30.
Wow. Now let's go,
Yeah.
before we go through the turn-ins and the award ceremonies. And I just want to tell everybody, spoiler alert: Matt won this contest. He went over there with the American flag, "Go USA," and took it to those Europeans. Way to go, Matt! What is it? When you're cooking and you're doing your turn-ins? Are there people milling about in Riva dei Turres, Italy? What kind of a setting is this quaint little town? Is it a nice little, storybook villa that you would imagine only in your head, or is it a dump? Or tell us about. Give us a little travel guide run through.
Well, it's actually it's a German village. I mean, all the street signs up there are bilingual. They're German and Italian, and pretty much everybody in that town speaks German.
Okay.
You know, some of them speak Italian, but for the most part, it's all German.
Well, you said it's right on the line of Austria, actually.
Well, and it used to be Austria, I guess, until I guess Italy took part of it back after the war. But it's still, I mean, the architecture's all like Swiss. You know, it's like a freaking Sound of Music. You know, you go there, except it's snow on the ground, but it's gorgeous. I mean, it's just a quaint little village, lots of little hotels. I mean, there's no supermarkets. There's no like bars or clubs. I mean, there's little bars where you can have some beers and drinks in the hotels, but it's just like a little quaint skiing village. And actually, where the contest was, there's a cross country skiing school or like a course there that's like world famous. So all of our little huts were in the middle of the ski track. So throughout the day, there's people cross country skiing around the cook sites.
And I want everybody to take the time. Hold on, Matt. I want everybody to take the time. And if everybody's saying, I wish Steve would say the name of that place one more time. And here it is. It's Riva, Riva, new word D-I, new word Tures, Riva di Turres, Italy. I want you to go to Google Maps, and I want you to Google Riva di Turres, Italy. You will be, Matt, I was shocked when I Googled that. I mean, I've never seen anything that had so many hills and valleys. It looked like a crossword puzzle.
Yeah.
I mean, it was,
it
was unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's, I think they have a contest there in the summer as well that's near there. But and there's even a contest, I think, in a month and a half or 2 months, a little further north in Austria on a frozen lake.
You hope.
So you're actually on a frozen lake at that contest. I think that's called Fire and Ice.
I'm sure Jeff Vanderleen's got that on his bucket list if he's never been there.
Yeah. But it's so beautiful. I mean, you're there, and I'm just, of course, you're freezing your ass off, but you're looking around, you're like, this is incredible. It's
yeah.
every time I'm there, and the pictures don't do it justice. It makes the mountains look like they're so far away. I mean, but you're right there. I mean, they go straight up, and it's just unbelievable.
And I thought that's the Matterhorn. Yeah. It's so
Yeah,
tall.
right.
So the other teams,
were
they mostly were the other guys you're cooking against? Are those Europeans? Like when they came to your school, or they did you wow them? Did they go, oh, this is neat? Like, did you say, show me what y'all do, and I'll show you the right way to do it? Or are we Americanizing European barbecue, or did you have to get with it a little bit and turn in some European style?
I just did a competition cook.
Just like
I
over
just
here.
did it just like here. I mean, and that's how I did the class. That's the thing. That's the great thing about it. I mean, it's, they're all celebrating American barbecue.
So they want American barbecue.
And they want, and they want that. And that's the coolest thing about it. So, you're going over there and you're seeing people from other countries come and cook and try and create this American product and this lifestyle of American barbecue, family, friends, camaraderie, drinking beer, hanging out.
Everything but Tim Malloy and the RV, right?
Yeah, that's right. And so it's like going to a contest in the States probably 10, 15 years ago. Probably 15 years ago. I mean, Everybody's happy, having fun. There's rivalries. I mean, but everybody's happy for each other when they get a call. I mean, and they're happy with the tent. They're happy to get one call in one category and that be it. And they're there and they're outside. They're cooking meals. They're sharing food with all their neighbors, and they're sharing drinks with everybody. And everybody was so friendly.
Are they used to that kind of cold, Matt? I mean, I know they live there, and you get used to the climate, but you talk to people that live up north, and they don't seem like they ever get used to the wintertime. Are these people? Is this like just another day in Riva de Torres, Italy?
No, it's still being cold is one thing, but cooking outside, that's something totally different. So it's I don't think anybody gets used to cooking in that kind of weather. It's too crazy to get used to. I mean, being cold and going skiing, that's one thing, but trying to cook.
Four meats trying to cook four meats is a challenge enough when it's 78 degrees outside and you're sitting in your air conditioned RV. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing it out there in the cold where you're struggling, trying to keep I'm sure you had to open that drum off. You're probably pouring charcoal in that thing like crazy.
It actually held up pretty well. We had to reload it in the morning, but at that point everything was wrapped.
Mm-hmm. So that's no big deal.
Everything held up pretty well. I had the Flame Boss on the Smoky Mountain, and it did really well as well. So it wasn't as bad as I thought, but it was. You still wanted to plan it to where, okay, I just wrapped this. Let's toss some more coal on there just to be safe, because you just never.
Yeah.
Excuse me, you just never know what you're going to go through. But
well, let me ask you this.
But no, I don't think anybody gets used to cooking in that kind of weather.
Let me ask you this: the stuff that you turned in Italy, would it have won here? Let's see, where were the guys in Zephyr? Is it called Zephyrillis this week? Is that what it's called?
No, but it should be. From now on, I'm going to call it Zephyrillis.
What is it called?
Zephyr Hills.
Zephyr Hills. Yeah. Okay. Is that would it have scored at Zephyr Hills?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
it was one of those things.
Jim Elser just threw up in his mouth, probably. But go ahead.
Well, when you have a good cook, and last year I wasn't happy with anything I really turned in, and I ended up getting a perfect score in the ribs. So it's one of those weird things. But this year, I'm like, hell, I felt pretty solid. And usually that's the kiss of death, especially in an atmosphere like that, because you're turning in your food. Of course, they got to open up the box and do presentation for all 6, and then go back and then pull a sample. And so it's 15 minutes that it's sitting out in 8-degree weather. So it's going to be 40 degrees, 50 degrees by the time they eat it.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that.
So, how does it taste cold? So, and I was like, I had a decent cook. I felt pretty happy about everything. I tasted everything. The tenderness was there. The flavor was there. It could have been a little bit better. I mean, it was a B plus.
All right. So when you turned in all your stuff, and I guess it was just like a regular turn in. You take the little box down to the judges' turn in, and somebody from KCBS takes it and puts it on the trays. And I hope the judges are inside, aren't they? I mean, they're in a warm environment. Sure.
Oh no,
they're not.
No, they're in a shed that.
Oh my God!
Like an old barn. So there's holes in the wall. I mean, it's extreme for the judges. The judges don't get a free ride.
Oh my gosh!
They got to witness it just like the teams do. So they got a bunk. Last year the judging was in an igloo. And it was actually warmer in the igloo than it was in their barn this year. So
I'll be darned.
It's extreme for them. So there's no it's not an easy cakewalk for anybody.
You got to be tough to go to that place. So did you get a chance to look at anybody? Did everybody turn in pretty much? I wish you can't really see in the boxes. That's one thing that's weird about our sport. You can't see anybody else's food. But do you think anybody? Did some of the guys that weren't familiar? Did they turn in any train wrecks or, any crazy looking things that you knew of or saw?
Not that I know of. That's the one thing. The great thing about the internet and Facebook is they all everyone has access to it. So I mean, they're looking at barbecue pics and all of those Facebook pages and checking out stuff, and they're taking classes as well. Tough to get a class there last year, and Byron's done one. Jeff from Wicked Q's done one.
Mm-hmm.
A couple other, I think Buck Lou was doing one. I think that Shake and Bake and Gateway did one. So I mean, they have a lot of access to presentation and flavor profiles. And
hey, what did you use for your garnish? What did you use for your garnish?
Parsley.
Okay, so it was available over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's so cold you can't really use lettuce because lettuce, when it freezes, just turns to mush.
Yeah.
So at least parsley kind of holds its shape. But pretty much, you're making that by the time you put the meat in, the parsley's frozen again.
Was there any kale available over there?
I didn't look for any. I just knew parsley worked pretty well from last year, so I just kind of stuck with that. And Domenico was able to bring that up from southern Italy, so we had plenty of parsley. And
I wonder
it
if
just
anybody
holds up well. The only thing it does is it turns darker green when it freezes.
I wonder if anybody turned in without garnish. That might be one of those contests to do that at, where it's so cold.
Yeah, but at that point you'd want to put a bed of meat in there, I think, to keep it even warmer. But
yeah,
I don't know. People ask me if I was going to do that. I'm like, no.
I'm just thinking outside the box.
Yeah. When you do that, you got to spend more time to get more meat in the box.
Right.
So to put a pork box together and have it look good, you're gonna have to put pulled on the bottom, and then you got to put twice as much meat in there, and that's when you have 15 minutes to piece some of those butts out in the KCBS contest, that's a lot to do. So I think having the bed helps, especially for me being a one-man cook. Even though I had help that week, just to part and piece everything out.
Yeah. That's enough right there. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I
Yeah.
watched some of the award ceremony. That's what a geek I am. I was sitting there watching the award ceremony from Italy.
Nicole, it's bilingual.
Yeah,
So
it's
they
hilarious.
say the numbers and the it's
Yeah, it's
it's
hilarious.
interesting.
It's hilarious. So what? So when you so I didn't get a chance. KCBS got a new website. I don't even know if it was is it posted yet? Did you check on the
It
KC?
is actually you can go to the West their Facebook page and they put a link on there to the
Oh, okay.
page.
All right, good deal.
So
So all right.
it is posted on there.
So how did you do in chicken?
I was second place in chicken.
All right.
I think I had a 177.
All right, what about
And
ribs?
there was actually a team that got a perfect score. So I got the first perfect score ever for that contest last year in ribs, and this year they had the second ever. I guess it's still the first perfect score in chicken for that contest ever.
Well, that's cool.
Uh,
So what'd you do in ribs?
I was second in ribs.
All right. What about pork
I
butt?
think pork was my worst. It was actually a rough table. I was ninth and eighth. The second person on the table was eighth, and we both had like a 172
Mm-hmm.
and some change. So we were both right there for the top of the table.
That's probably
And-
the French.
and it was
That's
still
probably the French
ninth
table.
and eighth, which still wasn't a bad. I mean, it's not a bad score. Sometimes the top 10 can be a 10-point spread, but I want to say first place in pork was like a 176. So it wasn't. It was only like a 4-point spread from 10th to first, I think. So
What did you do in brisket?
Brisket was fourth overall.
Fourth overall. Okay.
Yeah.
Did the guy
I
that
still
did the guy that
won
won
my
it?
table, but it was
Yeah, no.
a decent score.
Did the guy that won it? Did he cook a wagyu? Do you know?
I'm not sure, but I think they've won brisket there. I think the last 3 years in a row. I think it was Knockstone. No, what the heck was it? It was Bark Brothers. Maybe it was Bark Brothers.
Was the guy that was the fellow from England there that won the American Royal? Did he go to that thing? Do you know?
No, he was. No, they weren't there.
Okay.
Southern Dutch. No, they weren't there.
Okay,
Uh,
that would have been pretty neat.
it'd been nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm sure I'll see him. I'm cooking the Tony Stone in Amsterdam, so I'm sure I'll run into him there.
Now when is that?
Let me see when that. I have to look at my calendar to figure out when that thing is. It's
I mean, like what month?
I missed it last year. Because I was in the hospital, so that means it has to be somewhere around April.
So you're going back.
Uh,
So you're going back over there. Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to go back. It is actually it's the beginning of June.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll be in Amsterdam.
Wow, you're just you're like Nick Faldo, playing over here, then getting on a jet and heading back to home, heading back to Europe, then heading back to the United States to play. I think it's
Well,
incredible.
there's going to be
I think it's great for you.
well,
It's great.
I think every team should do it. It's it's so you try to equate it to another sport. I think right now, in the States, competition barbecue is like it's turned into NASCAR. Big rigs, high money. I wish we were, competing each weekend for $1 million like NASCAR, but
Or not.
and it's. I mean, you still have a lot of good friends and a ton of great people, but it's not. Sometimes it's more work than fun because you do have so much to lose, and you are putting so much money into it. Sometimes you forget that it's supposed to be fun, and I equate the contests in Europe to like local dirt track races.
Yeah.
And then American barbecue is like, NASCAR. We're taking left turns, and they're just hanging out in the dirt and having fun, cooking food. The families are there, kids are there. I mean, it's
Well,
Peter's
one day,
wife turned in a turn-in.
one of these
It's
days,
9 degrees.
Yeah.
She's walking with her child, carrying a baby, turning box in the other hand, dropping it off, and it's 9 degrees outside. And they're cooking dinner and lunch, and I mean it's just a different vibe, and I think it's the vibe that we used to have 15 years ago.
Over here, human services would be all over.
Yeah, yeah. But I think cooking over there would remind teams of how fun it's supposed to be here.
Absolutely.
And I think some of the teams need that.
Well, I still have fun. Someday though, Matt, somebody's going to roll up in in a trailer with a porch and a big old Myron Mixon gravity feed smoker. He's going to roll in. He's going to roll into Riva dei Turres, Italy, and it's all going to change.
No,
it's all going to change.
No way you can get a rig up there. There is no way, Posh. That is one thing that's good about that. That's the truck you'd have to pull that rig.
Wouldn't make it.
And how short it would have to be to make the corners around the mountains. It's you'd have to get a medal just the fact that you got a rig up there. Because you're one mean driving son of a bitch.
Hey, what kind of car? What kind of car did you rent?
I had a little tiny Opal.
Opal.
Yep, it was an Opal.
Are you still as junky as they were when they were here?
It was kind of like the smallest Toyota.
Yeah.
Type of a car. I mean, it was tiny, but it had snow tires on it, so it worked out great.
Did they clear the roads, or were the roads icy and snowy?
The roads were really good, except once you got down into the valley, that's kind of where it was just pretty much ice and snow. But
yeah.
As long as the car had snow tires on it, it was fine. It wasn't bad at all. It looked horrendous and scary, but those snow tires are great.
Yeah.
And pretty much every rental car, during the snow season is required by law to have them. So, but for the most part, up until you got like a mile from the contest site, the roads were pretty good.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, you're home from Europe with the win. You went over there and planted the American flag in Riva dei Turres, Italy for the year. Next weekend, are you cooking, or are you going to take a weekend off?
No, I'm going to go drop the trailer off tomorrow at Pig Fest here in Lakeland.
Okay, that's right, Pig Fest.
Yeah,
I think
I'll be.
That's a big one down there, isn't it?
Yeah, there's usually about 70 pro teams, and it's one of the first ones for points in the year. So there's a lot of big teams coming down. So
I think there's to be several guys from up in the southeast going to be heading down that way too. Isn't it a KCBS event, or is it just SBA?
Well, usually Darren comes down.
Yeah, I think Donnie Bray's coming down too.
Midnight Burn comes down. Sauce is going to be here. Shake and Bake was here last year. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're coming again. There's a Shig Ninjas coming.
So you'll have your hands full.
Yeah, there's no cherry picking at this contest, that's for sure.
Yeah, Matt Barber, what a fantastic trip you had, and I appreciate you stopping by the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show tonight with the little travel brochure that you just gave us. It's you did a great job describing the atmosphere, and good luck at Plant City next weekend, and good luck in Amsterdam.
Yeah, thanks.
And I'm sure you and I'll catch up soon.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate everything you do, and but yeah, everybody needs to go cook an old school contest, and remind themselves, to have fun again, and spread the word. Make barbecue great again.
I like it. You should have run for the board.
No, I'm good. I'm already on one board. I'm good with that.
Matt, thank you so much, man. Sleep tight, get some rest. I know you're on a little lag right now, so get some rest and get caught up, man. Thanks so much.
All right, man. Hey, man, I appreciate it. Hey, thank you.
You bet. Matt Barber, Hot Wauchulas. If you want to see these pictures, Matt posted some great pictures online. Go to Facebook. Go to Matt Barber's website. Matt Barber's Facebook page. And I don't think you have to be friends to see it. And he's got gosh, he's probably got 50 pictures on there, and they are just great pictures, and it shows the good scenery on what he was cooking in and what he was cooking on, and some of the different types of cookers that the other teams were using. For the last time, Riva de Turres, Italy, at the West Winter Extreme South Tyrol Barbecue Contest, won by Matt Barber from Florida, taking it over to Europe and bringing back the cup. If only our golf team could do that. Wouldn't it be nice if maybe Matt can be a captain's choice to give him a pep talk year after next in the Ryder Cup, and let's get that cup too back to America. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching and listening to the Alice's Barbecue Show tonight. Don't forget Hamilton County, for all my local listeners. We're out of school tomorrow. Do not go to school. Do not wake up early. Take your time. You are out of school. It's going to rain tonight. Possible freezing overnight. All my friends on Facebook, follow me on Facebook tomorrow. I will let you know the road conditions here in the Ooltewah area. If you need that information, check my Facebook page out, because I get out every morning pretty doggone early, and I'll be glad to fill you in. Until next Wednesday, everybody, thanks for watching and thanks for listening. Next Wednesday, we've got the Rolling Grill. That's right. Rolling Grill will be with us next Wednesday. Eric from the Rolling Grill. Eric is a great guy, and man, just wait till you hear him from the Rolling Grill on the show next Wednesday. Till next Wednesday, drive safely, especially drive safely tomorrow. And everybody stay warm. Let me click this off, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks, everybody.